Well, I think this is Sarah. How may we help you?
Sarah, my darling, darling girl. You're not going to fucking believe what happened to me. I had a setup with the Seattle Police Department, and they charged me in an alley and ripped my pouch wallet, my little purse, out of my hand and ran with $200 I just pulled out of the machine and my debit card. This will be my 9th stolen in the 19 months since the contract killing. So get this, Eris. I then call the number on the card as well as a number I found on the web to call the Washington Federal Fraud Department. I made 2 phone calls. They told me, the first one and the second one I couldn't even get through. They told me at Washington Federal Fraud that I had no bank account, that my name was nowhere in the system throughout your banks. So I'm trying to tell you what that did, because I've had to call up fraud, as you know, several times. I've done it in Culver City. I've done it in LA. I've done it in San, and they've always been able to find me. It was the first time it ever happened. What that did, though, Sarah, is that it hooked up, it proved the deputy gang on the street, the agent cartel, working for the police. Because this black man was evidently working for police, because when I called fraud department of all departments out of Washington Federal, well, you know, my checks have been stolen over and over and over. Basically, in a nutshell, it's the police, because they're now, I've told you, they're integrated inside of the banks because of Wasserman bank cartel. And I'm telling you right now, what we did, the good cops are like, well, that hooks up the perpetrator on the streets who ripped off your debit card and your wallet to the police who are working at fraud at WAFED that do not want the card tracked, so are telling me I do not even have an account. So this thing is getting so, I can't begin to tell you how the dark side is serving, Sarah, but I want to tell you there was 14 crazy, and you know this just going on for 19 months. So the point is, I want you to look up and see if I have any money left, because I attempted a second time and kept getting fished and couldn't even get to anybody. So I tried Washington Fraud, Federal Fraud Department. So we're going to see if there's any money left and stop that card and send me another one. I don't know if there's even any money left to send it to me. If you could give me grace to know my next check, you could take it out. But I want you to check out my account and tell me what's left, because he's got this.
There's $536 in the account.
Okay, thank God. But I'm going to tell you they got away with $1,400. So that means they stole. He got the $200 cash, and that means he got. We're going to track that card. That means he got another. Let's see. 5. They got $700 from me. I want you to put a freeze on my account.
Okay.
I mean, not a freeze on my account, on the card. Shut that fucking card off. Thank God I've got $500 left. But there was $1,400, and I had pulled out $200. So there was $1,200 remaining, which actually that's $700. They got away with about $900, because there should be $700 more there. So what I want you to do, I have a new email. I want you to send me a screenshot of the account. And a lot, what these deputy gangs will do, though, is they will go to businesses that will not track them. It's all been scripted, so it doesn't matter what it says. We're just going to have proof if there are any even transactions. Because Circe Wallace, remember at WAFED, the $1,800 in West Seattle that Ryan, one of the managers, will tell you disappeared out of my account, and just like all my checks have with you. And he couldn't tell me because he's being recorded, because I can only say so much, but I'm going to tell you a lot of money's missing. You were just in here and there was more money. And so we are having now Sarah, who knows that it took her half an hour at the Anacortes WAFED, who's the manager, to get my $1,200 out of American Savings that was frozen. And so remember that ordeal I had there? So it's just all this. And then at Wells Fargo, I went in there to try to get the transfer of $1,000 that I had transferred from my American Savings in Kahului to the Wells Fargo in Soquel, Santa Cruz. That had been deleted. So basically, Circe can get in there, and the crooked cops, and that's why, you know, they can remove any digital information, transactions, any deposits, withdrawals, purchases. And, you know, remember when the computers fucking crashed and I had called you and I said, I'm coming up and I want to come in, and I want either come in or talk to you on the phone about discussing changing my checking account number, which Eris, or no, you remember. And I came in, I decided it was because it was some reason I didn't do it. But I had come in there and we discussed the fact that the computers crashed when I said I was going to, I remember I called you. I said, I'm going to call back in a half an hour when Eris or Sarah is there. And they said, okay. So when I called back, and I think it was Eris that answered the phone, she said, you're not going to believe this. I was expecting your call, but guess what? The computers crashed. I said, really? So 3 hours later, those social security checks that I have a YouTube where they even admit and solidify that there was a $900 check still from my mother being sent to me to help me with her death, and the $1,200 or $1,150 check coming stolen. So we know they already accessed my account right there with you. They're accessing WAFED everywhere. So I just want to put a halt to the Washington Fraud Department. It's run by fucking Deputy Gang, Sarah. So not probably all of it, but we're cracking this. So I just want you to know how much I love you. You wouldn't believe how critical my life is in danger. We're taking down Sergeant Jared Clomperin for the murder of a young woman with 3 children. They brutally raped her and brutally beat her to a pulp, left her and her body bleeding to death in the fucking yard. And I just found out from her sister, her name is Star, what they did to her fucking sister Rachel. And her life now, Star, her sister who's alive, is being brutally framed and gang stalked with falsified reports and warrants as I, because together we're smoking gun testimony. This is one of the most murderous deputy gangs in the history of the nation right here out of Siskiyou County. And then you got San Juan County with Sergeant Herb Crow, who's still a goddamn contract killer. He's even more powerful behind the scenes with Sheriff Ron Krebs, and they're still working behind the borders being open, smuggling in all those drugs from Canada or U.S. to Canada. Everybody knows about the 3 houses on Orcas. Even me and Maria talk about it, how they bring them in by boat or plane, you know, and all the crooked cops are in on it, and then they divide them between these 3 houses where these dealers come in from all over the nation, big fucking dealers. So that's another reason they want me dead, is I know about the drug ring on Orcas. But all that aside, Sarah, you know what? We love Orcas. Yuri loves Orcas. My mother's ashes are spread at North Beach. Give her a shout out. And with my grandmother's ashes, and I will be there again. I got a room in Seattle, Sarah. This buddy of mine was able to nab the room. He's going to basically take the room and let me be there. And it's like an absolute God sent from heaven. He says, I want you doing your art, playing your music. So I'm going to be in the U District. I'll be up to Orcas Island. And just know I love you. And I'm going to go to court on August 27th about this illegally authorized what do I have on this ankle monitor that I have on my ankle, that they get this. Cottage Grove arrested me in Cottage Grove, Oregon for the falsified illegally authorized warrant for trespassing in a garden by the Santa Cruz Police and the Santa Cruz County Court, who are also behind my contract killing. So they arrested me for the warrant, and then when I went to Siskiyou County Court, they didn't even bring up the warrant out of Santa Cruz. They decided to put an ankle monitor on me with a new probation officer that I traveled to Los Angeles, and therefore it was a probation violation. When just a week ago with my prior probation officer for the 19 months with this contract killing had given me a legal right to move to Los Angeles. This thing is so illegal what they're doing to me. They're trying to continue to keep me on probation so they can legally gang stalk me with this contract killing. So they still gang stalk. They've been gang stalking me since Anthony Howe was hired by Yuri. Because I found Anthony Howe, well, I was pushing him because I always push the artist. And then Yuri thought, wow, look at this guy. So that's how that happened. And she took all the credit for that. And that's when the police gang stalking was so brutal. And when Sergeant Herb Crow shoved my mother into a corner and told him, where's Layara? Where's Layara? What's up with Anthony Howe? Because I was starting to expose on their Orcas Island cops' Twitter that they wanted me to open, so giddy about Hollywood being in the mix. And then by the time I started exposing the conspiracy about Anthony Howe, they started stalking my mother and me, and it's never stopped. So all I can say is God bless you, Sarah. Just know that I love you, and I'll call you soon, okay? And I'm in Mount Shasta.
Right.
I love you, Orcas. Give my love to Eris. You're my queen up there.
I'll let her know.
All right, bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.